Namaste, you're on the Nation at 5. I'm Anand Narsaman. We're coming to you live this Friday evening from the CNN News 18 newsroom, and we're joining you with details, exclusive details of the NIA probe into the Amaravati killing, the attempt to butcher and try and somewhere behead Umesh Kolhe, where the attackers had to flee when there were people in the footpath and on the street who suddenly started gathering. But there was clearly stab wounds into very millimeters straight up to the spine. Now these startling, this murder was happened in the wake of the controversy or the comments made by Nupur Sharma. But what we are given to understand is that there was a targeted plan to try and target those and a well-planned, executed modus to try and target those who had stepped up in support of Nupur Sharma, and there was a deliberate attempt to try and stoke communal tensions and social strife. Now, in this case, we are given to understand the killers were radicalized to commit the crime. Evidence also suggests that links to other groups on the radar of agencies for anti-national activities as well as international ties for funding and logistics. Now, this is what we are given to understand. 2 more suspects have been arrested by the NIA. Who are these people? The suspects are Abdul Arbaz and Maulvi Ahmed. And both of them are now in NIA custody. The antecedents, backgrounds and their links is what is a cause for concern, and then also piques our interest, ladies and gentlemen. Maulvi Ahmed is a Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind chief in Amaravati. Maulvi Ahmed allegedly planned Umesh Kolhe's murder. So he was the one who planned it. Maulvi Ahmed was informed about this quote-unquote Gustakh medical guy. And he was informed that this Gustakh medical guy has been killed. So the killers went back and reported to Maulvi Ahmed that Gustakh medical guy has been killed. Gustakh of the mind, the person who erred, or from their point of view committed gustakhi or a mistake. Maulvi Ahmed was part of the meetings before and also after the killings. So the huddle, the planning, how it will be executed, and after that reporting back to this person. So that's why he's allegedly been named as the mastermind or the person who pushed it. He's the head of the Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind in Amaravati. This is what the NIA probe details reveal, and we've got the information courtesy our investigations editor Manoj Gupta. Maulvi Ahmed allegedly helped the killers escape, and he also arranged for their shelter. The main suspect, Irfan Khan, was influenced by Maulvi Ahmed. So Irfan Khan's motivations came from Maulvi Ahmed. Maulvi Ahmed allegedly wanted Umesh Kolhe to be punished. So it all stemmed from this. He is the fountainhead of this hate and to try and justify butchering, where he decided these are the people who need to be taught a lesson or who need to be punished. So a family man, a person who runs a medical shop, was the one who was identified as a target. Maulvi Ahmed allegedly ran a force of around 250 youth. 250 youth under his command and control and influence, ladies and gentlemen. And he allegedly received funding from Qatar and also Kuwait. A lot of these funds he also used for his personal benefits while also funding these kind of activities. I have Sriraj Nair of the VHP, Rajinder Kumarji, former Special Director of the Intelligence Bureau, and Nirva Mehta, Editor Op India, Editor English Op India. So at this point, I will straight away go across to Rajinder Kumarji and ask him, Rajinder Kumarji, the Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind so far has been above suspicion. But Maulvi Ahmed is the head of the Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind in Amaravati, and he is now being identified as the fountainhead, somebody who had more than 250 youth under his control, sphere of influence, etc. And the main accused, Irfan Ahmed, was highly influenced by Maulvi Ahmed. The information we have got is that he sat before and after the killings, and these people reported back to him कि गुस्ताख मेडिकल गाय को मार दिया.
आनंद जी नमस्कार.
नमस्ते सर.
देखिए, मैं ये कहूंगा कि जमायत उल हिंद एक देवबंदी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, तो ये मौलवी जो है देवबंदी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को रिप्रेजेंट करता है. तो ये जो देवबंदी इस केस में मैंने पहली बार देखा है कि देवबंदी बड़ा क्लियरली आ रहे हैं. और मैंने जैसा, क्योंकि इससे पहले जितने भी था वो बरेलवी आ रहे थे, ये
जी
जो देवबंदी आ रहे हैं। अब मैंने जैसे आपको पहले भी कुछ इस मामले में जो पहले भी एक दो शो हुए उनमें मैंने बोला है कि देखिए यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि सारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, सारे सेक्ट में जो रेडिकल एलिमेंट्स है वो इकट्ठे होते जा रहे हैं, चाहे वो देवबंदी है, चाहे वो बरेलवी है, चाहे वो एलिस, चाहे वो एलिस सुन्नत वाले हैं, सब जितने भी सेक्ट हैं सब के सब इकट्ठे होते जा रहे हैं और सब के सब जो रेडिकल एलिमेंट है इकट्ठे होकर एक ये इंडिया में एक काम कर रहे हैं कि किसी तरीके से मुसलमानों को जो है हिंदुस्तान के खिलाफ भड़काया जाए, हिंदुस्तान so that they can be incited against India, and there is a strong movement against India and the society. They want to exploit the fault lines in India, and I am sure that the government will be working on these things and would take necessary action. Otherwise, we will see that more and more increase in these type of activities in India. They just need a pretext. Nupur Sharma was a pretext. Next day, some other pretext will come. Someday it is CA, someday other pretext. On various pretexts, they are trying to create an issue in India, and not only create issue in India, also project India as a fanatic country, Hindu fanatic country. Whereas till today, not a single Indian has ever been found, Hindu has been ever found in the world to be involved in any terrorist activity. Not a single Hindu. But they want to project that. You see the commentary which comes from European countries, the USA, Canada, that India fanaticism is increasing. Hindu phobia is being created. Whereas Hindus have no involvement with terrorism. In fact, they are the first victim of terrorism. And today, here also in India, it is the Islamic project to convert most of the Indians to Islam. And that's how they are taking a graded step. It is first they are trying to approach the weaker section of the Hindu society and convert them, and then they will slowly grow up. That's why they always talk of unity between the Muslims and Vanchit and Dalits and this and that. This is not, but this is all a facade. They are trying to, they are using these things to basically convert Hindus into Islam. So that is my.
No, but the fact of the matter is that how are these people so radicalized and none's the wiser? So, like you said, whatever the Nupur Sharma controversy seems to be just a trigger or a reason or a pretext for them to unleash their mayhem. But who are these people who are brought up in India, who believe that they can go ahead and butcher somebody and consider it and try and justify it as punishment? That's the larger concern, Sri Raj Nair. Who are these people who are so rabid, who believe that such people deserve to be butchered, such people deserve to be killed? They are the ones who will decide the justice.
See, Anand, we always say, even on this channel, the problem with this Muslim leadership is they have always been responsible for keeping their people backward. They always selectively, pledge on the constitution of this country. They selectively believe in the IPC, CRPF. They selectively believe in the judiciary. And when elections come, they howl, they cry, they sing, cry, and they say they have the maximum number of school dropouts. They have the maximum number of people living under the poverty line. They have the maximum children who are malnourished. But at the same time, rather than giving a proper direction to this crores of Muslims who live in a hell-like situation, they are making these Muslims as radicals and always directing them to become anti-nationals. That's the fault of the Muslim leadership. Now here we saw some drama being created by Maulana Madani, the way he cried, the way he tried to create an emotional situation, the way he tried to, make these people take up arms against their own nation, wage a war against their own nation. The fact remains that we have to ensure that Maulana Madani type of people,
but somewhere, Sriraj Nair,
responsible for this act.
they are making the activities of organizations like the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, the RSS, the BJP as the reason why they want to do something like this. See, what is the bet? They are saying that we want to counter Hindutva forces. So Vishwa Hindu Parishad is seen as somebody who's out to get all Muslims in India. Somebody as an outfit which is rabidly very Hindu. That's their perception. This is what is being said, that you are the Hindutva forces who are out to get the Muslims, so we have to counter them. So that's where it starts from. And then they turn around and say they want to save democracy, they want to save the country.
60 years of its existence. In 60 years, you tell me the number, you tell me the time when Vishwa Hindu Parishad or any other Sangha Parivar outfit have directly have any kind of role in driving out Muslims or creating any kind of ruckus or have harassed or it is all excuse. This under the pretext excuse of PA and NRC, under the excuse of this poor lady Nupur Sharma, this is all purely excuse to create an atmosphere of fear amongst Muslims, to bring in bad reputation for this nation and this Muslim leadership. They are purely responsible. They are the people behind behind everything, and they have to be. And the government we appeal to the government of India to ensure this leadership has to be crushed and a proper leadership should be developed so that these people who are living a life like hell, they live like basic human beings and they start loving their country. These people are not migrants in the Arab world. They are converts. They are Hindu converts. Their forefathers, their ancestors belong to this soil only. They have to understand, they have to realize how long they will live in denial. This is purely Stockholm syndrome, Anand.
So you are saying they are themselves to blame because they are just using somebody else as a pretext to try and push their agenda of hate.
Anand, absolutely, they wanted to change the narrative the way Jagabad Mandir issue was going on. They tried to change the entire narrative just under the pretext that Nupur Sharma said something. And you know what Nupur Sharma said was said by Zakir Naik and any number of clerics. They have been saying the same thing. But they under the pretext and excuse of Nupur Sharma, they tried to bring in bad reputation to this country.
Sir, my simple point is whatever the fact states and whatever somebody else states is not the matter of concern. The matter of concern is that a national spokesperson of a political party used a tone and a manner which does not behove her of the position. Now, whether she stated facts, whether she stated fiction, that's not the aspect. It's the manner of behavior. Now, correct. My point is that if somebody makes a comment, you can raise an objection. There was action taken. There was action taken. There was action. 1 minute. Yeah, there was action taken. There was action taken by the party. There were people who took her to court, and the courts have to now decide. Nobody can decide that, oh, if somebody makes a comment, this is what we'll do, and we have to teach those who believe that she has the right to express herself and what she said perhaps has merit. They may have that position, but you don't have the right to go ahead and cull them, butcher them, kill them, and say you will be killed if you have a position like this. That happens in an Afghanistan. That happens in a Pakistan. It's happening in Bangladesh. It will not happen in India. That because if you are an Indian citizen, you will abide by the rule of law. In this case, then who are these people who think that their religion, their faith, and what they believe is their personal law is higher than the constitution and the tricolor? That then becomes a serious issue. We got more information that Umesh Kolhe backed Nupur Sharma on a WhatsApp group called Black Freedom. Black Freedom WhatsApp group had both Hindu and Muslim members. One of these members picked up Umesh Kolhe's post and copied it onto Kaleem Ibrahim WhatsApp group. The decision to kill Umesh Kolhe was taken on this Kaleem Ibrahim WhatsApp group. The murder actually was also attempted on the 20th of June, but then it failed. So they came back and repeated that attempt on the 28th of June. Nirva Mehta, the NIA probe shows that there are members or there are people who sat through and planned how to teach these people a lesson. And these people are very influential in that area, in that sphere, and also within the community.
This is not the first time a Maulana has been involved or accused of being involved in such probe. such activity. Before Umesh, even in January when Kishan Bharwad was murdered over allegations of similar blasphemy, uh, in that case also the leads were led to a Maulana, and a huge conspiracy was unraveled where a lot of Maulanas, not just one but two, three of them were involved, and it was a long-term planning. They had all plans on how to get him killed, and they followed the rule of the law. They filed an FIR. He was jailed. He was jailed twice. When he was out on on bail, he was cleared. So it was all planned. And even in that case, there were Maulanas that were involved. There are so many cases where Maulanas have been involved in so many anti-national and generally anti-human activities, for that matter. So this, as a debate, this shouldn't even be there. That whether they are a threat to security, it's quite obvious. A lot of this radicalization takes place in places like madrasas.
Yeah.
In fact, even forced religious conversions, for that matter. So many of these religious places are epicenters of these crimes. A lot of these Maulanas are involved in rapes of little boys and girls who are studying in madrasas. There are ample number of cases. So
Yeah.
there needs to be some way to stop this menace. It's not just there's so many things involved in this. So the radicalization, there has to be some way to stop it. I really don't know how, but there has to be something done about this instead. And they get cover fire also. For example, if you were to go and ask them that none of them have condemned all these Sir Tansajida calls. And if you ask, if you question any of them, there would be people like, say, Mohammed Zubair from All News, who would say that they will fact check you instead. So this is how it's they have all that, which makes them all the more dangerous. The entire situation is all the more dangerous because there are people in mainstream um, media and other popular faces defending them in some way, or whitewashing and watering down their crimes because, oh no, this is an old video of one old Maulana raping a child. No, that the fact that he raped a child itself should be the important point in your fact check. But that's how things happen.
So you are saying there is a lobby that is also giving cover fire, but the fact is, how do we check
Definitely.
radicalization? The bigger threat is radicals within, and this calls for an internal strike. So the NIA conducted just over the last weekend, it conducted searches across 6 states. And there were nearly 48 people who were arrested in 48 hours for having highly radical bent of mind and contributing to highly radical platforms that belong to terror outfits like the Islamic State and the Al-Qaeda in Indian subcontinent. Then we also had a radical madrasa that was bulldozed by the Himanta Biswa Sharma government because, again, they were facilitating, and that madrasa was illegal. It was built illegally, the source of funds was illegal, the person staying was an illegal, and he was harboring illegals who were coming in radicalized and part of terror outfits and who were spreading across in the country. Rajinder ji, how do you stop this? How is it that you are going to decide some people, you can stop them before they commit an act? And these are people who are sitting with highly influential positions in their community. Someone who's a Jamiyat Ulema-e-Hind head in Amaravati is no mean, he will have a certain amount of clout. He had 250 youth under his influence.
Anandji, before answering your question, I want to highlight one more fact. See,
Ji.
we should not be under any mistaken belief that Nupur Sharma triggered these issues. See, Nupur Sharma it was only a pretext. These people were not radicalized in a day. They were already radicalized. Otherwise, it is not possible to do this type of thing in only 4 or 5 days. That 10 days after Nupur Sharma said something. See, there is already a massive level of radicalization of Muslim youth is going on, and this type of activity, this type of activity of beheading or murdering somebody, it brings one action brings 1,000 more followers for these radicals. So that's why it is their agenda, and we have to do something about. We have to stop this radicalization program, and there has to be some sort of. I have been repeatedly saying some sort of preventive action, and the preventive action, while it can be there is positive type of preventive action where there is classes, there are debates and other things are held in the Muslim society, and people are enlightened about it, and people are also enlightened about that Quran may have certain provisions, but they are being wrongly interpreted by certain sections of the society, and this is the real interpretation of the religious verses. And secondly, there is another side is the punitive side. We have also to identify the people, and we have to bring an act, where preventive detentions could be undertaken for the people who are involved in this type of activity, like WhatsApp groups. If somebody is part of the WhatsApp group which is preaching these type of things, that members of that WhatsApp group should be, because in WhatsApp group only if you are willing, only then you can become the member. So all the members of those WhatsApp group, there should be action against them. See, what America does is that any communication over internet or phone or anything, and if they find that it is radical and it can lead to commission of a terrorist offense, the person is arrested and is prosecuted and is sentenced also.
True. Rajinder Kumarji, Nirva Mehta and Sriraj Nair, thank you very much. I would like to take this conversation forward, but we've got news developments coming through and the newsroom behind me is abuzz. Lots of developments. First up, let's show you this, ladies and gentlemen. The PMO's office has just tweeted this and we're going to put that picture. Mamata Banerjee in conversation with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So this is the picture of West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is at the backdrop of a lot of trouble for the Trinamool Congress in Bengal with the Enforcement Directorate raids and, of course, the entire reshuffle in the cabinet. Mamata Banerjee is also scheduled to meet President Draupadi Murmu, and this perhaps would be her official meet to congratulate the president and meet and greet after she was elected with overwhelming support. But more importantly, the meeting with the Prime Minister is crucial at a time when Mamata Banerjee has had to rejig her cabinet. She finds that one of her trusted aides, Partha Chatterjee, has been caught. Partha Chatterjee and his aide Arpita Mukherjee have been caught with huge amounts of cash and gold, and it's directly linked to Partha Chatterjee. She's had to sack him as a minister, a rejig in the cabinet. Even Paresh Adhikari now finds himself sidelined. So a lot of questions which are happening and a lot of charges of corruption, mismanagement, and what's going on within the Trinamool. So political heat, the Enforcement Directorate heat on Mamata Banerjee, despite her opposition to the Prime Minister and trying to and her attempts to slight him in the past whenever he's visited Bengal. The Prime Minister always has said that he's had a cordial equation with Mamata Banerjee. Maria with us on the phone line. Maria, is this just a courtesy meet, or some of these issues, politically hot issues, will also be discussed? The Prime Minister has always said that politics aside, he shares a very warm, personal, cordial relationship with Mamata Banerjee.
I would see this as more of a meeting of a chief minister with the prime minister. Mamata Banerjee Anand is on a 4-day trip to Delhi. Besides her meetings with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, there is a meeting with Draupadi Murmu as well. She will be attending a Niti Aayog meeting on Sunday. And there is an event in Rashtrapati Bhavan to mark 25 years of country's independence, that is tomorrow. So all chief ministers are traveling to Delhi for this important event over the weekend. So I would see this more from the perspective of Mamata Banerjee certainly communicating in her own way of what the Trinamool Congress has been alleging of misuse of central agencies. But I would also say that because of the recovery of cash, the Trinamool Congress realizes that they have little to explain as to from where did that huge amount of over 50 crore really come up. So I think whether those issues will be taken up for discussion, I'm not too sure, but I would see this more than just a courtesy call.
Well, there is some business that is going to be discussed. Maria, thank you for your inputs. Arun Dhantra is live with us from 7 Lokalyan Marg. Arun, at what time did she enter Mamata Banerjee, and is she still there, or has she made her way out? Because the PMO has already tweeted this picture.
Minutes ago, our cavalcade left the 7 LKM road. The meeting lasted for about 35 to 40 minutes, and as we have been speaking that there were various issues on which Mamta Banerjee wanted to discuss with Prime Minister specifically the GST dues and also the funds that she requires for the various developmental projects in West Bengal. But Anand, this meeting between both Prime Minister Modi and Mamta Banerjee is coming at a time when we are seeing that a huge sum of money being recovered from our number two, Partha Chatterjee's residence, which later on sacked by Mamta Banerjee, and also when we are on the heels of the vice presidential election tomorrow. So what exactly happened inside this meeting? What both the leaders...
Right. We'll have to see how long this... we have to see what the crux of this meeting was, what are the important issues that were discussed. But clearly, Mamta Banerjee calling on Prime Minister Narendra Modi and now on her way to meet the President, Draupadi Murmu. We're going to take a very short break here on The Nation at 5. When we come back, there is an activity that's happening in Srinagar at the football stadium on the third year of the application of Article 370. And there is also activity that's happening in Ayodhya. Stay with us.